Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following list of topics to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the rate and the route. Okay, तो यहाँ पे आ गए कौन? Pushpa. Okay, so we would see that recently the rates and the route is basically news because the CITES database reveals rates under smuggling, and there is a clear discrepancy in the reporting of the trade in the endangered species by exporting and importing countries that is said by the Wildlife Trade Monitoring Organization, which is known as traffic. Okay, so when I say about the rate sanders, so we all know that it is a non-fragrant variety of sandalwood, and this red sandal trees is endemic to this region of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, and it is found only in the forest adjoining the famous Balaji temple in Tirupati, that is in India. Okay, so Seshachalam Biosphere Reserve and hill areas are the only place in the world where red sanders are grown. So this tree is declared endangered and included in the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List, and its export is regulated under Appendix 2 of the CITES, which is the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. And therefore, it is under the Schedule 2 of the EXIM policy of Government of India. So this red sanders, which is highly valuable hardwood species, is exclusively found in this forest area, and this red sander woods referred to in China as jitan, Zitan, is used for making exclusive and classical hardwood furniture. So the state government of Andhra Pradesh has monopoly and absolute rights over the management, possession, and sale of this red sander woods. Okay, so therefore, in views of this high stock of seized and confiscated red sanders, this wood with government agencies, so sites have given a one-time permission to export around 11,806 metric tons of red sanders wood from India. And therefore, through such number of process, the major markets we could see is China, Japan, Middle East, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Nepal. So you can see all these countries which are basically associated of going in for this red sandalwoods. So therefore, you have to see about the use of red sanders, okay, and its respective classifications based on its important areas. So that's why it is in news, because recently ये जो discover किया गया है, okay, that यहाँ पे huge discrepancies हुआ है on the respective trade of this respective valuable species, which is only endemic to a regions like Seshachalam Hill Forest, which is basically coming under the area of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so recently it has been seen that this is categorized as one of the basic news, okay, in our in our respective newspapers, because the costliness of this respective wood is, and its valuability of its use is very much prevalent towards the respective countries, which is in which areas this wood has been in high demand. Okay, so coming to the next point, Punjab hub of narcotics cases. So obviously ये तो होना ही था, क्योंकि we know that it is basically adjacent to the regions of Golden Crescent. So therefore 42% of inmates in public prisons are accused or convicts in narcotic cases. So you could see the number of cases registered in 2020, 2021, 2022. Okay. So therefore today, this Punjab as a government even tried its level best to come up with various number of projects. Supposedly, if I say about the DAPO projects, that is the Drug Abuse Prevention Officer, okay, which is a community participation program. Okay, you can see thousands volunteered registered as DAPO to raise awareness, and the government also leveraged its 3.5 lakhs officials as DAPO. So even if I see about the Buddy project, which is saying about the special task force, which is designed a Buddy project aiming to include all schools and college for student awareness. Even if I see about the UAT program, OOAT, that is saying about outpatient opioid assisted treatment. Okay, so therefore today the Punjab government is doing its level best to prevent such number of drug abuse, but still we can see that such number of forces which are engaged with such number of activities are challenging, are facing various number of challenges coming from different areas. Okay, so because we have seen that this type of forces is to directly report the CM office overlooking the state DGP and other police hierarchy. So this created some tussle, which reached its peak when the STF questioned an SP and also arrested a police inspector on drug charges. So this skirmishes visibly slowed down STF's works, and subsequently it was placed black within the police hierarchy, reporting to the DGP. So earlier the year, the government issued a notification to exclude STF from the RTI, as it was facing pressure to release sensitive information. So STF also has to face political headwinds, as it has to inquire into alleged involvement of an ex-minister from the SAD party in a drug mess. So आज यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा है, तो इसी के बेसिस पे हम लोग यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि 42% ऑफ द इनमेट्स इन पंजाब प्रिजन्स आर एक्यूज्ड ऑफ दिस कन्विक्ट्स कमिंग इन फ्रॉम द नार्कोटिक्स केसेस, क्योंकि यहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा नार्कोटिक्स केसेस रिपोर्ट होते हैं just because of its adjacent towards the golden crescent that includes countries like Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Okay, हेलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, प्रिवेंटिंग मसूरी गोइंग जोशीमठ वे। ओके, तो अभी यहाँ पे एनजीटी हो या बहुत सारे एजेंसीज हो या यहाँ पे कूद पड़े हैं कि हम लोग मसूरी को भी बचाना चाहिए, बिकॉज यहाँ पे भी बहुत सारा हम लोग एंथ्रोपोजेनिक रीजंस देखे हैं। So recently it has been the National Green Tribunal NGT has issued directions to the Uttarakhand government to conduct a study of the specific carrying capacity of the hill station of Mussoorie. Okay, because last year a panel was formed to assess the carrying capacity of eco-sensitive zones in Shimla also. So today, this 9-member committee, which has been formed to suggest remedial measures for preventing environmental damage to the town. Okay, so यहाँ पे study करेंगे मसूरी का carrying capacity, कि मसूरी का carrying capacity कितना है और वहाँ पे लोग कितना है. Okay, so therefore यहाँ पे इन लोग का suggestions क्या है? Okay, that there should be no further construction that is very much viable in regions like Mussoorie. Okay, so therefore today, if you have to see about the carrying capacity, so carrying capacity is basically defined as the total number of individuals of a species that can live in an ecosystem under certain conditions. ओके, तो उसी के बेसिस पे सिंस यहाँ पे जोशीमठ जैसे हम लोग का यहाँ पे केस हुआ है, तो वो कल परसों मसूरी के साथ ना हो जाए, इसीलिए एनजीटी यहाँ पे एक पैनल बैठा रहा है, जस्ट टू मेक अबाउट श्योर अबाउट हाउ मसूरी इज फंक्शनिंग विद इट्स कैरिंग कैपेसिटी. ओके, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, यूएस मिलिट्री बेस इन फिलीपाइंस. So we have recently seen that the United States government has built more than 750 military bases all over the world and more than 150 military bases in Asia alone. So however, the military presence between Australia and South Korea is very little. And to counter the Chinese moves in South China Sea and to increase its presence in the region, the US has now signed a deal with Philippines to gain access to 4 of the Philippines bases. So according to this deal sealed between US and Philippines government, the US will now gain access to 4 of the military bases in Philippines, and the deal reversed the US departures 30 years ago. So the strategic location of the country is highly beneficial for the US and its intention in the region. And the Philippines border between Taiwan and South China Sea is a major flashpoint. So now what is China to tell about over here? So according to China, the US actions are to increase the tensions in the region, and it will disturb the peace and stability in the South China Sea. So China has disputes with almost every country in the South China Sea, even with Philippines. And if I say about Philippines, in 2016, the Philippines won the dispute at the arbitral tribunal, and now the West Philippine Sea is under the jurisdiction of the Philippines. Okay, but still today, US wants to make sure that China does not have influence over this region, and therefore they are trying to acquire the bases, that is basically these 4 new locations in the regions of Philippines. Okay, so that is in respective, तो ये Philippines का देश है, तो देख सकते हो, this is Philippine Sea over here, this is the Manila Bay, this is the Sulu Sea. Okay, so this is the Moro Gulf. Okay, and in the upper side you can find all countries like South China Sea as well as countries like Taiwan. Okay, चलो next पे आते हैं, lastly editorial. So trading more within Asia makes economic sense. So this respective editorial and the main context of this editorial is saying about the warning by the International Monetary Fund that global trade would slow down from 4% to in 2022 to around 2.4% in 2023. Okay, so what is this FTA which has been talked about over here? So see, FTA is basically a pact between 2 or more nations to reduce barriers to imports and exports among them. So today every country is going with some of the protectionism method. So protectionism is a concept of free trade is the opposite of trade protectionism or economic isolation. So today FTAs can be categorized as PTA, that is preferential trade agreement, comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So there are various number of pros and cons with respective to the FTA. But if I see about IMF book South Asia's Path to Resilient Growth, So in this context, IMF argues that if the countries of Asia needs to cooperate within themselves, they have to eventually go for trade integration across Asia. And here, if I talk about Asia, then we have these two giant countries, basically India and China, where we could see that we have got more trade deficit as compared to China if we were dealing in a bilateral way. तो आज अगर ये दो country, is two giants, does not accumulates its respective interests towards its growth and progress of this area, then obviously nothing could happen with respectively to this area known as Asia. So therefore, something needs to be done to make this area susceptible towards economical growth. So therefore, regional trade integration across Asia is the need of the hour. South Asia's trade opening with every countries, forgetting enmities, is also the need of the hour. Adjusting finance to losing sectors is basically some of the another scope where the trade may flourish. Also improving the performance of special economic zones, pursue comprehensive free trade agreements, and even including issues and resolving such number of issues in global platform is the need of the hour. So though we have got some of the free trade agreements, be it with Japan, be it with Sri Lanka, Singapore, Pakistan, but still we could see that today we have seen that Pakistan has totally blocked off every number of trade with countries like India. So therefore, regional trade in Asia, improving the SEZs, basically the special economic zones, requires ensuring macroeconomic and potential stability, even providing reliability and upgrading workers' skill. So India has concluded FTAs with many other countries, and in the coming time, it will be going with some of the more countries so that it could be viable in the coming time. So therefore, India, since recently will be holding even the G20 presidency, will be a good platform to initiate these changes, which is the need of the hour in the coming times, that is between the countries of Asia. Okay, so that is with the respective editorial we can see. Okay, so we have this 5 number of questions. Please do attempt these questions and do join our WhatsApp and Telegram channel for further updates. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.